What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Today we are going to be working on fixing the 240's dash. So if you guys know anything about 240's or S13s, you guys should know that these dashes are always cracked. So my original plan was I'm just going to go ahead and get the dash reupholstered, take it to an upholstery shop and have them take care of it. That way I won't have to ever worry about it again. It'll be good for a long time. But I thought about it, and the upholstery shop's probably going to cost me a couple $100s to fix it, which, yes, in the long run is probably the better idea. But for me, I couldn't justify the amount of money I'd have to pay, especially because the dash is already cut up to fit around the cage. So we are going to go ahead and attempt to try to fix this. I've actually fixed the dash before, but I didn't like how I did it that time, so we're gonna try different material to fix it. And yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and fix the main cracks, and then I don't want to flock it. I really do not want to flock the dash, only because we drift at Grange. There's always dust. If you ever drop, dust flies all up into the car, and I feel like with the flocking, it's gonna make it really hard for us to clean off the dust, wipe it all off. So I'm gonna try to repair it and probably paint it. But let me just show you guys what the dash looks like, and then we can get on to actually fixing the dash. So, as you can see here, the dash looks a lot worse than it did yesterday, or in the last video I should say. That's because the cracks were kind of like this one, a little bit bigger than this actually. But to get this to work well, fixing the dash, you have to cut a pretty decent sized groove into it. Obviously you have to cut into this one a little more, or at least sand this down. Because if you just left the crack like this, throw the filler or whatever you're going to use to fix it on top of it, it won't have a nice area to bite onto and hold, and it can just end up peeling off or cracking off later on. When you cut this groove into there, you give the material a surface to bite onto and essentially grab onto, is I guess the better word, and it'll keep it from lifting or cracking off or whatnot. So all the little stuff I kind of just pitted it off. But the main cracks, you can see here where they were. There's some over there. I still have to go ahead and get some of these cracks out. Just because I'm fixing it now, I might as well fix it right. Or fix all of it, I should say. But yes, first thing you're going to want to do is, you can see in there, it's a pretty deep groove. I can get my finger in there. But you want to cut a groove into it, like a V-shaped groove. That way you can get the material something to grab onto. But let's go ahead and pull the dash out and get to work. So the last time I repaired a dash, we used this thing called padded dash filler, which is good for those dashes that have like a cushion to it, or like a foam, just like this. The issue with that is very hard to sand because of how soft it is. It it wasn't sanding away like Bondo or body filler would, and what ended up happening was I was sanding so much that it started to thin out, like the areas, like these areas, and became very brittle. So I ended up wrapping it with a cloth. But I don't know if I have a picture, but if I can find one, I'll put it in right here. But I was watching videos of people repairing dashes, and I actually came across a video by on the Throttle YouTube channel. And it was a video of them when they did the S13, the orange giveaway. And they ended up fixing their dash and flocking it. Like I said, I'm gonna try to avoid the flocking process, but I'm gonna try to use the same process they used when they fixed their dash. And what they ended up using was fiberglass resin jelly. So let's just get to it. Okay, so we got the whole top of the dash sanded up and cleaned up. So we're gonna go ahead and mix our fiberglass resin jelly, and we also have our spreader here. It's a little bigger than I would like, but it'll do the job. We're just gonna get some in there, fill in the cracks, let it cure, and then we'll get it sanding. So let's cut to that. Alright, so we went ahead and sanded it all down already. I don't think I showed you guys what I did when or after it was all bondoed up, or bondo resin fiberglass jelly thing. Anyways, we got it all. We laid a bunch of it on. We sanded it down. These are pretty much done. You can see that these are really smooth. I don't really feel any noticeable low spots. I might just do one more light coat over it just cause. These were a little bit more difficult. There's a few low spots you can see there. All over it, to be honest. There's like little low spots throughout all these cracks, which is okay because now we can do another coat over it and it won't be as hard and as soft because with the deep V, it was making it to where every time I passed through it, it kind of wanted to sink in. So now with it a little higher up, we can go ahead and do a coat over it. It'll be a lot easier to smoothen it all out. I forgot to do this little crack here, so we're going to go ahead and do that. Excuse me. But now that this is all sanded down, I'm going to go ahead and give it another wipe down and go ahead and another wipe down as in cleaning it, I should say, and then go ahead and give it another swipe or wipe down with the resin jelly thing. So I'll catch you guys after that. So we did another quick little swipe with the fiber reinforced jelly bondo thing. I need to look at the can, I forget what the thing is called. But as you can see, it's a really light coat. You can actually still see where the main cracks are. It's just to fill in that little bit of surface that we needed to fill up. As you can see, like, there's barely any on this side. There's a little bit more on this because, like I said, we weren't able to fill this all the way up to the top. But with this layer, it should be good. I don't see any divots in there. So once this cures, we're gonna go ahead and sand it back down. Then we can figure out what we're gonna do for a surface. It is now the next day. As you can see, like I left you guys off, and we swiped on the last coat. We got off of work and went straight to O'Reilly's, got this rocker guard coating paint. It's black, and the reason why I chose this instead of your normal interior vinyl fabric paint, which is meant for interior stuff, dashboards and whatever, is because this has a slightly textured finish, as you can see, and it's still flexible because it's meant for rocker panels, plastic parts which flex. So it should be okay with the dash. It shouldn't chip off because the dash moved in any sort of way. But like I said, main reason is because it's textured, and my main concern with this dash is that with all the sanding that we're doing, we're taking away a lot of that natural texture that it has. Like with it might be a little too smooth when we're done sanding. So we're gonna try to hit it with this Duplicolor rocker guard coating, with which finishes with a little textured finish, impact resistant, whatever, and flexible chip resistant coating, which is another big plus. So let's go ahead and sand this off already, and then we'll go hit it with the paint. Okay, so we got everything all sanded down, all the low spots are gone. We're gonna go ahead and we already washed it off, let it dry. So we're gonna go ahead and shake this can up a little bit, and once we shaken it enough, oh man! But I think it says 10 seconds. It says to shake it for a little bit. Whatever. So we're going to go ahead and shake the can a bit and then get to spraying the dash, and hopefully it works. It says keep spraying coats until you get the texture that you desire. So let's get on to painting. We got our first coat of paint on there. As you can see, it's still drying. That's why it looks a little uneven. But on this side, where it's a little drier, you can see it gave it almost that coating that it normally has. So I am a little worried that it's gonna look shiny, and I definitely do not want a shiny dash. I hate the way that looks. I hate shiny looking interior as far as like this kind of shiny, because to me it looks greasy. So we're gonna go ahead and probably spray a couple more coats on this just to get a good layer. Let it dry, and if it still looks wet or like shiny or greasy like this afterwards, I'm gonna go ahead and scuff it up a little bit and pick up the actual interior vinyl / fabric paint in matte black, just like how I did with the BMW dash, and it should have the look that we're looking for. And this would just be to give us that textured look that we're looking for. So let's go ahead and let this dry, spray another coat on there, and see what it looks like when it's done. So it's still drying. I just left another coat on there, but it actually, texture-wise, it looks pretty good. So right off the bat, I did notice that you look closely, you can see the parts that I fixed. And the reason you can see that is because it is still a little low. I didn't build it up high enough. But these areas, the part that I did build high enough, you can barely even tell. So that's just what I get for kind of rushing it and wanting to finish it quick. You can see it there. I'm not going to try to hide it from you guys. If you guys are going to do this, take your time. Make sure to get all your low spots build up. Make everything even, because you will see any sort of imperfection, especially after you paint it. When any type of bodywork, even on cars, it always looks okay when it's not painted, but the second you lay paint on there or primer, whatever mistake or flaw you left will show even more than it already did, I guess you would say. So I'm not gonna go ahead and I'm not gonna fix it because it's not that bad, and like I said, it's going into a drift car. It looks good enough for that. But as far as texture wise, you can see here, it looks a little weird there, but on the dry areas like here for example, it almost looks like the original texture. Almost, not exactly, but it gives it a good enough texture to where it doesn't look off and smooth. So we're gonna go ahead and let this dry. It's a little cold out, so it's probably gonna take a lot longer than it should. Should have done this tomorrow morning when it's hot, but that's alright. We're gonna go ahead and let it dry, let it cure, and see if it dries a good color. And if not, then we'll go ahead and get some matte black interior paint and go ahead and spray that down with that. So that's it. Well, long story short, I didn't like how it was coming out, so I ended up having some extra suede material here, or whatever it is, that I bought for the last time I repaired a dash, and I ended up trying to wrap it again. Pretty much last time the issue I had was the material stretched too much here, so when it got hot in the car, it actually ended up peeling up over time. So what I'm going to try to do this time is do the HUD section, whatever you want to call it, separately, and do this corner separately because it is just a tiny piece there, not too big of a deal, and then the rest of this in one piece. That way none of the material is stretching too much, and it shouldn't be under so much tension that when there is heat involved, it's going to want to peel up. So hopefully this glue is good enough, and hopefully it looks good with all the seams, so that's my biggest thing, the seams. If not, we're probably just going to peel it off, and last resort option, flock it, which hopefully we don't have to do. So let's try to make this look good. Well, I didn't like how it looked with all the seams, so I went ahead and peeled it off. As I peeled it off, you can see here the rubber coating started to peel off too, or that trim bumper paint thing that we were using also peeled off. So I'm probably either gonna get new material that stretches, and that stretches pretty much so I can wrap the whole thing in one piece, or I'm gonna scratch this dash and start with a new one. That's kind of a bummer. Wasn't really expecting it to end up like this. Honestly, I thought I was gonna end up with a brand new looking dash. But if you guys are selling an S13 dash, let me know, because now I need one. Not looking forward to having to cut the dash again to fit around the cage, but you gotta do what you gotta do. So if you guys are selling an S13 dash, let me know.